Hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews, doing a main, more or less solo, rundown of, this week's TV. So, before I get to basically that, we're gonna start with some obvious news that has been going on. No, not my screen, dusting up more than usual. It is the passing of, famed, filmmaker and TV, icon, obviously, David Lynch, who passed away earlier, last week. So, long story short, I haven't really made any plans on my thoughts of the guy's career other than a big thank you to pretty much his weirdness and being a maverick of the industry as usual, but I know a lot of Lynchian fans have basically are mourning a loss in many ways. I think a lot of stuff that got viral was one of his favorite donut shops, basically being flooded with what he usually eats and drinks on set. The two cokes or cookies of it all. Again, I'm not a huge Lynch fan, but I am very much aware of the loss. I would be the same way with Paringer's passings. If anyone has remembered my time discussing JDF during his passing, go to my top 5 for that, as always. But yeah, Lynch was, without question, icon in the industry, and there's really no getting around it. Twin Peaks was definitely what everyone will probably remember him for, but there were other movies and stuff like Mulholland Drive and obviously the 84 Doom, which, no joke, as of prior to this recording, I was planning to do a tribute review of that. That might still be in the cards, probably also down the road when part 3 of Doom never shows up. I'm very much aware that the show, based on the modern movies, might have downturned, so go to Space Ninja's video if you want a better explanation, because I, again, am not a Dune aficionado, so that's basically where we are with that. So with that also said, the only thing that'll be excluded for today's rundown will be Creature Commandos, because the plan, hopefully, later this weekend, after my X-Shot review, will hopefully be a return to a real Red Hood for the new year, so that'll probably be the case. So before we get to today's shows, I just want to do a quick moment of silence, which is very rare in figure form, given that not a lot of celebrities earn it, honestly. And you know, I said last year that life goes on and stuff like that, and it did kind of get all over the place with that kind of tributization, but in Lynch's case, it kind of makes sense. So yeah, about them two cokes, huh? Anyway, so with that all being said, let's get to today's reviews. Will be, like I said, not Creature Commandos, but we're going to be doing a little bit of Broccoli first before we get to the Neo Love It All. So yeah, this is my full official rundown review of Original Sin, aka Dexter's prequel series. I don't have a full review for it yet. I'm going to do scores when the finale drops. But basically, everything about this, the first 10 minutes, I think you guys can see online with the new, I think the first episode dropped online, along with Paramount Plus, is that it basically retconned a huge thing that happened in last time's miniseries, New Blood. I think I briefly talked about it in my end of the year video, so go to that also. But the main hook of it is basically we just basically follow Dexter's original years in Miami Metro instead of like college or high school, which actually would have made a lot more sense down the road, but apparently that's not really the case, and they really needed somebody to go with it. So the good, I'll say, Patrick Gleason over here, who's playing this version of Dex, is actually a little more quirky, a little more, I don't want to say cringe, but like kind of makes sense that he would screw up a few kills in his early years. I think the best example of that kind of like threading of like, I think the writing was the Joey Pants episode. Yes, Joe Pantoliano guest starred in an episode, and even when I was watching it live, I was like, wait, how is that not a thing in the main show? Like, I would have absolutely seen him do it in the main show. So another big thing in the retcons department, aside from the original ending of New Blood being all over the place, explaining how C. Hall is going to come back in Resurrection later this year, is the family side of things. I know there's more characters. I probably got heavier retcons, like Lugueda's actor played by, of all people, Celia Milian. If I got the name right. Again, as always, a cast time view down below. And PM, all that stuff. Yeah, hi. Well, pretty much a fans, long story short there. Oh, Christina Milian. Now I get it. Now I get the reference. You can tell it's New Year's here, well, post-New Year. So, that all being said, the big retcon that I've been basically focusing on the most that might have altered a lot of Dex's history is Harry Morgan's, obviously now played by Christian Slater, who is doing an okay job for what it is. Like, he's highlighting big stuff that happened to him in the main show. Again, go to Slipmaker's retrospective if you need a quick rundown of what happened to him in the main series. in his case for Harry, I think the pilot did a better job of him explaining the Dex's first kill, which was, I think, an almost poisoning Harry got back in the early 90s, which explained how Dex got the go-ahead for the first kill. And everything else is all over the place. I think Molly Brown's interpretation of Deborah Morgan, she's doing the best as what she could with the material. I don't want to be too harsh on her. Again, this would be the same kind of like performance I would see Jennifer Carpenter do in the main series. Early series Deb, not late in the series, trying to figure out how to take down Dex Deb. That's like a whole other series of problems and different showrunners with that kind of baggage. So, ultimately, as far as this show goes, it is a little changing of the history when it comes to the original series, but then again, this show was changing the history of the actual books and was its own original narrative by the end, so I'm not really missing too much on that, but again, I'll talk more about it when the season finale drops, I think next week, so I'll do a full official review of that. What I will do official scores on is obviously Skeleton Crew. The final episodes dropped as of the last couple of weeks over the holidays, and I do want to say I am absolutely enthralled with these kids. These are pretty much Stranger Things level acting that these kids are doing, especially Neil and Wynn over there. Their actors are doing a fantastic job. I think KB's solo episode of trying to like prepare was kind of a good tearjerker scene of an episode for me included. I won't go into time for every single director that has basically done an episode of this series. It's basically who's who of like nowadays directors who are huge Star Wars fans, unlike those Fandom Minutes Bros. So go taking them aside, let me get into Proper Armor and talk about essentially what is the biggest highlight for me, other than, well, Neil over there. Yeah, it's Jod. There's no getting around it. Jude Law did a really good job explaining the backstory and lore of Jod. Essentially, he is, yeah, still a true pirate, and long story short, became pretty much in the closest to like what would happen if like a Padawan didn't really know too much about the Force and basically did what they could for the grift, essentially, in like pirate speak, essentially. I will also say Nick Frost's 33 was an amazing droid character. I hope he gets more work with more droids down the road in future Star Wars series, because he actually did a really good job. He kind of nailed it. It wasn't too, like, on the nose, piratey kind of stuff, but it was actually pretty cool for what it is. So yeah, also, the parents had a lot more to do in the later episodes, especially trying to, like, make a buoy-style kind of, like, SOS signal to get the kids back with the stolen ship. And, yeah, even the owl character over there you're seeing in the background kind of came in clutch at the end, which was kind of mentioned the previously on, so it made sense. I was like a couple of weeks behind on the show, so it kind of makes sense for that kind of explanation on my end. I don't know how it was when you were binging the show when it was new, so who really knows if you're doing it now. That all being said, ultimately for final scores on this, I'll say it just for the hell of it. Full 8.5 out of 10 is a really damn good star for Star Wars to basically rechange, I guess, whatever problems they've had with Acolyte last year going into this new series, and obviously with Andor Season 2 coming up. And switching out of the Mandalorian voice out of it, you're probably wondering, has there ever been a character from Mando that kind of still makes it be in the post-sequel trilogy timeline? Yes, there was. I think there was a background character that was in Season 3. I mentioned this last time I did a proper review of the show, so go to that as well. So yeah, with that being said, with everything end cards finally coming up, go to potentially more punching bags that I'm going to need for future figure reviews for this year. To sub the channel, hit the notification bell down below, Mandalorian Armor, here to see my previous video, which was obviously talking about Squid Game, and obviously other hand over here to my shorts playlist, because I believe we're finally nearing the end game for Critical Role, hopefully next week for episode 120, and there will be a short probably tomorrow for episode 119. I might need to do a reshort because it was one of those episodes I stick to the whole day, so at the very least the whole session. And yeah, with that all being said, I am Retrokid with your review saying, yeah, I am not ready for next week's finale. Just saying. Also, we're really gonna do Resurrection? Any other stupid spin-off idea, Showtime? Like, what was the Harry show gonna be about? Or, like, the Force Ghost stuff with, like, Harrison? Like, what was even that pitch? Or the Trinity prequel? Did we really need that? Really?